Hello.
Hello.
And welcome to
Finish Big. Bloody Finish Big.
Who's that?
That's Brimwick and Wood.
Ah, right. Well, we are listening our way through all the Big Finish releases and ranges.
We're still going. They said we'd stop, but we're still going.
Yeah, we've done so far. Obviously, Doctor Who, Beneath Summerfield, Earth Search,
Warp, of course. Fly Me to the Moon.
All of those.
Any old dirty back passage that Big Finish has been down, we're there exploring.
I mean, they haven't gone down too many at the moment. We're in 2005.
That's true.
And we are slowly getting more and more Doctor Who spin-offs, and this time we are talking about a brand new one that they've put together. Unit.
Oh my god.
I mean, probably the most
the
obvious.
First, the original, the minus Gemma Redgrave best.
Well, yeah, this is pre-new series of Unit, so it's Unit in the early 2000s.
That's right.
And, well, yeah, it's very interesting, isn't it? I mean, it's a one-off. I don't know how well known it is, actually.
I don't even know how popular it was. All I can say is I went in with low expectations, and I actually came out thinking this has got legs, and I wish they'd done more.
It just went very quiet, didn't it?
I was quite sort of impressed, actually. Overall, I mean, I think there's issues here, and I think they do have to work their way into it. But overall, I thought they had a good cast, of characters. I know we'll get into it. I know.
Okay, well, there's 5 stories here. We've got 4 releases and a mini Doctor Who magazine freebie preview to get everyone ready for it.
These bloody Doctor Who magazine previews.
Well, so the stories we're talking about today are The Coup.
It's about time Unit changed.
Time heals.
It is a scene of near biblical carnage.
Snakehead.
The Saxon dead guy is another blooming immigrant.
The Longest Night.
A female Indian deputy prime minister. If only you were a lesbian in a wheelchair, you would tick all the boxes.
The Wasting.
I thought that you would be more paranoid by now, M. They're supposed to be Scottish, sorry.
Well, okay. I mean, do you want to just talk about the first one straight away then? Let's go into the...
I just want to...
Or should we do the overall...
We'll just kind of overall, stuff? I wrote here, this really wants to be edgy, uncompromising, and political.
Well, okay, so it's very different. If you've listened to the new series-based Unit stories with
they're a lot safer
Gemma
than
Redgrave,
this.
all of that, even, what are the other ones? Even the Bambera sets or anything like that. This is completely different. This is Big Finish pre-new series influence.
And not Cardiff aren't looking over the scripts and going, no, you can't say that.
This is the tone of what fans were doing with the books and things in the 90s. It's more influenced by that stuff, I would say, than anything going forward. It's the fans' view of Unit, of what they wanted in those 90s, in the 80s, a bit more adult, a bit more sort of military stuff. It's all, there's not actually that much alien stuff in here, is there?
No, I like
it's
that.
It's not the Unit, there's a few alien bits, but it's more political spies, who's backstabbing who's a secret agent for who. It's more of that kind of stuff. I'm just trying to think of a series that it would be like.
They would
more like influenced by like 24 or something like that around the time, I would say.
Actually, it does feel a bit like 24. They would never make this today in a million years, especially not the third one, which is as in-your-face political as I think Big Finish has possibly ever been.
Gemma Redgrave would get the script of this one and just drop dead, wouldn't she?
Well, my trouble with those later Unit ones, not to preempt them because they may be a revelation when we get there, is that they're all so mid. They kind of bring in the mid-range writers and they give them mid-range premises, and then you've got Gemma Redgrave bringing it to life, and it's all very average. I know you're a fan, but this at least now, I think it's unsubtle, this, and certainly bringing in this sort of extremist group, ISIS, who believe in Britain for the British.
Okay, so just to clarify, ISIS, not related to any real life.
No, but that's a deliberately chosen name.
The whole sort of arc of this story is ISIS, which stands for Internal Counter-Intelligence Service, and they are part of the British government, I believe, and they're the ones that want to take over unit. So actually, this does fit in with that early 2000s view. Unit is just this small organisation. People want to get rid of it. It's not relevant anymore.
Yeah.
This other organisation is a bit more right wing, wants to sort of come in and take over
a bit more right wing.
So ISIS is the big underlying baddie throughout this.
The thing that you're forgetting to mention in your very, safe précis of ISIS there are a bunch of fucking racists that believe in England for the English and are going to extreme sort of terrorist lengths in order to get the British people, back the empire back, and almost a bit tortured in that way. But
if you did this today, if this came out today, everyone would be like, "Oh, this is just ripped from the headlines from like the 2020s."
It feels
actually,
more relevant now than it ever did then.
It was all fantasy back then, and it's sort of reality now. So that's why you wouldn't do it now.
Got a few quotes from The Longest Night, which are so relevant to today, and we will get there. But I did find that it was sort of doing 70s unit as well, in that it was a small team of the colonel, the new boss coming in, and the soldier, and that was it. Those were the only characters we knew.
Well, I feel like, again, Big Finish at this time, the budget for these feel like those single Bernice Summerfield releases. Couple of regulars, the odd extra person, and a few doubling ups.
But who the fuck are all those big casts in those unit sets in the future?
Well, this is again pre-box set when they've got a bit more budget and it's a new series and everything. But yeah, these are more contained stories, but also it's a little bit like how the Bambera series has gone. That's got your three main characters with a couple of people in. It's a bit more along those lines.
But obviously, I remember in the second one, Snakehead, you got this man who runs the Chinese restaurant who's bringing in all the immigrants like illegally to have cheap labour force. I'll never forget him. Whereas, oh God, what was that Auton unit one we did?
You've not heard them properly. Do not criticise. I really like them. Don't criticise them.
I'll just say that
heard them properly.
Employing Gemma Redgrave is not the seal of quality in my book.
Let's talk about the stories then, okay?
Oh, wait. Before we go into the stories, one last thing. I have to say that I'm extremely impressed with the coup of bringing in Yazoo the pop star as Colonel Chowdhury. Now, she goes under the name of Siri O'Neal, but she's the only way is up singer, Yazoo. Now, put them side by side. Excuse me. Put the pictures up now. Put them side by side. Yazoo and Siri O'Neal, all right? They are the same person with the same punk blonde haircut.
Okay, so what you're trying to say is, the main character throughout all of these are new brigadier in a way, but not actually.
Colonel.
So, yeah, Colonel Chowdhury.
Or is it
not
lower?
Chowdhury, sorry.
Is it higher or lower?
I don't know. Sorry, hang on. What am I talking about? Chowdhury, her name is.
That's
Played
right.
by Siri O'Neal, is our main person.
Yazoo.
But as a leader, so she is our main person. I mean, I don't know why they didn't get Angela Bruce back as Bambera back now at this point.
It's nice to bring in new characters, though.
But she's the PR officer.
Yeah, it's great.
She's not in charge. So it's not like they've got, this is the new brigadier, Bambera, this is the new brigadier, Kate Lethbridge Stewart. This is the new brigadier.
It's got to be the brigadier.
Leading. She's the PR officer of it. I think it's a very bizarre.
No, that's
I don't know. And she's not as strong a character as any of those.
It's just the same as having Kate Lethbridge Stewart, who is the scientific advisor in charge of unit, isn't it? It's just a different approach. And I think when you bring in Dalton, who is, the military man and the officer, and they've got tension there, and then you have the soldier, who's basically like the Benton person, I think that's an interesting mix. Well, anyway, we'll get into the
we'll get to the coup.
But it's very nice to see Yazoo the pop star getting more work.
Yeah, to whet everyone up,
Eh?
Doctor Who magazine did a freebie 30-minute story, The Coup, released in December 2004, written by Simon Gurrier. This came with the Bernice Summerfield silver lining.
Oh, we like that, didn't we?
The little tasters for that. So this stars our new captain, Siri O'Neal, as Chowdhury, and also features Nicholas Courtney as the brigadier, sort of handing over the reins.
You said half an hour, did you?
It's about half an hour.
I think actually there's about a 15-minute story, because the first 15 minutes of this was just a load of sound effects. I thought in my ears. I had no fucking clue what was going on in the first 15 minutes.
I think this is still free on the Big Finish website if you want to give it a go. If this is if you're thinking, I might give the unit series a go, I'll try this first, this is not representative of the series.
No, not at all.
It actually would put you off. I would completely skip this. It gives a little bit of extra context about what's going on.
I think I listened to this and then I did skip the series.
If this is a PR exercise, I mean, they should get some tips off Colonel Chowdhury rather than anyone at Big Finish right now, because
the idea
it's
is sound.
It's really boring.
Is that it's supposed to be about the Brigadier's retirement party and he's handing unit over and they're talking about, a new unit for the new age and all this. And there's a good idea. And at the same time, there's this huge development that the Silurians are about again. And,
oh my God.
And the Earth is now talking, the human beings are talking with the Silurians.
There's a lot of noise. So the Silurians are supposed to be attacking in the middle of London. It's all on the news, think new series, what's the name, reporting on it and all that kind of stuff.
Trinity
but the only
Wells,
thing that you can tell by Silurian, it's just that Silurian, that noise. It's just that on a loop for a long time.
And a load of gunfire, people shouting.
And the Brigadier's in a car
you can hear
most
Big
of the
Ben
time.
going.
It's very slight.
Confusing.
And yes, okay, it sets a few plot threads up for the rest of the series, but I think you can do without it. It's not in any way a good advert for the series.
Ultimately, the Silurian thing, is only relevant in the last story of the series. It's barely mentioned apart from that.
But it does set up the ISIS stuff as well.
The Brigadier isn't in it until he's in the first one, isn't he?
The Brigadier's there, so everyone picks it up. That's
he wasn't needed at all.
It's funny, isn't it, how Nicholas Courtney was around in those early days of Big Finish, but all he did was 2 episodes of this, which we'll get to. What did he do? Companion Chronicles, 3 Companions, Minuet in Hell, some of the Unbound stuff. It's so funny how he wasn't really used that much. Maybe he wasn't interested. I don't know.
I'm going to say something now that's probably going to make people switch off, but I don't think, like Sophie Aldred, I don't think audio is suited to Nicholas Courtney's strengths as an actor. I think he's a hugely charismatic actor on TV, where he can use his smiley eyes and that dry wit. But when it's just his voice, I think he sounds a bit mannered. And I think he sounds like he's reading a script, a bit like Sophie. So I think they realised this wasn't where his strengths were. And so...
I'm not that bothered about I'm not the biggest Brigadier fan anyway. While you're piling onto him, I'll pile on. I think he's boring. And everyone's like, just because he's in the series over a long time, it doesn't mean that's quality time. I feel like he's there for the sake of it. Everyone's like, the Brigadier...
No, he's a legacy character.
All the way through. But he's just especially in the 70s he's there, and as it goes on, he's just there for the sake of it. He doesn't need to be in anything else. If he was just in the 70s for a few of those unit stories, great. But that just for the sake of he's the greatest character, he's the Doctor's best friend for all this time.
You're right.
If anyone did nick Web of Fear 3 just because it's the Brigadier's first story, good luck to him. Keep it, burn it for all I care. It's only the Brigadier.
No.
He's the most boring character.
I've got to look at those stupid balloon people wobbling back and forward on that DVD. I want to watch it.
It's not.
You're right though.
In any way, I don't know. I just don't think he's that amazing character of all of Doctor Who that people think he is.
The whole point of Battlefield was to pass the baton to Bambera. So that role should have been... Now, in the first story, which we'll talk about in a minute, the Brigadier doesn't talk to a soul and he's literally monologuing throughout the entire thing. If that had been Angela Bruce doing that, I would have been in 7th heaven, frankly.
Yeah.
So it is odd that we're taking a backward step, because the whole point was Bambera was supposed to be taking us in, new international waters in the 90s and the 2000s. And they sort of maybe she wasn't available.
Well, then actually,
she was probably working.
In terms of chronology, the Bambera sets will be before this.
Yeah,
because they're set in the 90s.
Yeah.
So then I don't know what the Brigadier's been retired here. That's going to mess up everyone's Brigadier timelines, aren't they?
I summed up this very confused and amateurish freebie as it doesn't set up the characters, it doesn't tell us anything about the Brigadier, it doesn't tell us what unit is about at this point, which absolutely you should be doing in a pilot, and the first episode does. I
suppose all it does is open the world up so people know that the Silurians are out there, people know about aliens, the Silurians are part of helping the government and stuff, it's all out there.
And
it's not covered up at the end, is it? I don't think.
It drops a massive bombshell, which you've just said there, with no consequences. We don't see any consequences to that. And we don't see any consequences to that within the series ahead either. So it's a very odd thing.
Yeah.
Really odd. And just unpleasant on the ear. Unusually unpleasant on the ear for Big Finish.
Let's give that one a miss, everyone, and let's go on to the series properly.
All the rest, we might sound a bit whingy. All the rest have huge things to recommend.
So the first proper release is Time Heals, released in December 2004. Again, this one is written by Ian McLaughlin and Claire Barnett.
Sorry?
Ian McLaughlin.
Is that how you say it?
Or whatever. The guy who wrote
Ian McLaughlin.
Ian McLaughlin. And this, as we said, stars Siri O'Neal.
Yazoo, the only way is up.
And then we get our two other regulars in this unit team. We have Nicholas Deal as Dalton and Robert Kirbishley as Hoffman. Also featuring Nicholas Courtney as a Brigadier in this one as well. Which, like we've said, I think the Brigadier is here. But the Brigadier in this one is...
Why is he here? I don't understand.
There's no point for the Brigadier to be here.
I do not understand.
He's like the lube to get everyone into this unit series.
Excuse me?
Isn't it? It's like, there's a unit series, but there's no one from Doctor Who in it. We can't possibly buy that. They do it nowadays, don't they? You've got to shove a Dalek or a returning character on a box set to sell the other ones that don't. So the Brigadier is purely here. Nicholas Courtney is playing the Brigadier, everyone. By this first episode, hopefully you'll order the whole series.
But, I know Mark Donaldson atted me and said that is why he got this first one.
Of course.
Because Brigadier was in it. But, yeah, fine. Have Nicholas Courtney in it. Have him interacting with fucking people. Have him as a part of the plot. Yeah. He's just there monologue. I mean, I said to you when we listened to this, nobody talks to themselves this much. You do not get up in the morning and monologue your entire life.
So a lot of this story reminded me at the beginning of it, a bit like Ambassadors of Death. So there's an alien spacecraft being escorted by UNIT and it's captured and taken by... Let's just say the baddies or the opposite
nuclear
groups,
warheads.
And it's nuclear
very
warheads.
Mind of evil.
It's very like that. So there's all elements of sort of classic unit stories here. There's a mention of Colonel Brigham Wood, who has been captured, who was head of unit.
How do I explain that our CO has gone missing?
So Dalton is brought in as his replacement. So he doesn't know anything about unit, really. He doesn't know about the alien stuff. He's just come in from the military to take over. And Siri O'Neal is our link. She's the PR officer, so she's the only one that knows what's going on. And there's a great plot unfolding here about, who's captured this thing. And then there's these sort of, evil scientists experimenting using the alien tech. But all the way through, scattered throughout, are these clips of Nicholas Courtney. He's watching it on the news. Oh dear, that's happened. Or he's trying to phone somebody up. Or he's in his, he's completely separate. And then there was this weird stuff. He was like time jumping, or he fell asleep and he was phoning Doris and she's like, you've been asleep for half an hour. And he's like, what's happened? That came to nothing from what I could tell. It was just cut to Nicholas Courtney every now and then. Nothing to do with the plot.
It strikes me that Gary Russell phoned him up between convention appearances and said, right, Nick, can we just go through these lines now? And he just did it down the phone, It's very, very strange. What I will say is, the first half of this story, the Brigadier scenes aside, I thought it was brilliant setup. Now, this did establish what UNIT was all about. Now, this brought in Dalton, who has immediate friction with Yazoo, our Siri O'Neal. The only way is up. What's the other song they sing?
I don't know any of them.
All I needed wasn't love you gave.
Anyway.
Only you. Oh, it's lovely. So I think you've got great regulars in there as well. But there's a hugely exciting and horrible set piece when two trains collide with each other. And suddenly you've got news reports on that. You're cutting to the scientists. So you've got big set pieces, a great mystery. The scientists were a bit like Invasion of the Dinosaurs.
Yeah, very much
Whittaker
like that.
And what's his name?
It's very
Martin
gruesome.
Jarvis.
So they're experimenting with this alien tech. And I think it's basically it's sort of matter transported. So there's trains like teleported up and then brought back down again. But there's people on it and stuff. So there's a really gruesome bit where a unit come and investigate. And these people have sort of been... Their molecules have been sort of messed up with the train and stuff. So this book had materialized back, but inside someone's skull. So it was like half in his head and half out, and like someone's leg and their back.
Really
and they were
horrible,
sort of melded together with the materials and stuff. So all these dead bodies are it was really gruesome picture.
That's the sort of set
That
piece
was
you would
really
have in
cool.
like the X-Files.
Yeah,
in the
very
90s,
X-Files
you know?
sort of stuff.
It's
Yeah,
about that sort of
which you can imagine
imagery.
again from a modern Unit series or in a New Adventures book, or what people would be writing at that time for Unit to be investigating. It's that kind of style.
It's sort of edging towards the excesses of Torchwood, but not as ridiculous as Torchwood.
And we've got a lot of terrorist stuff, terrorist talk.
Well,
because
they do the first mention of the Muslim extremists.
They think it's an extremist thing, and all of that is going on in the news in the background.
You know what's funny?
So that's what's happening.
Is I winced when I heard that, not having a clue what was coming in the third one. That was only like
this was a little taste.
Hair on the dog, you know?
Yeah, blaming sort of terrorist organisations for this stuff when it's the actual, an alien scientist is experimenting on things.
I loved that Dalton comes into Unit as a military man who's not impressed by Unit in any way, shape or form. He's got all the files on his desk. He's not read them yet. He knows what they do, but he hasn't read the details. He says Unit are a law unto themselves and they've got the highest mortality rate. And Chaudhry goes, it sounds like you're investigating us rather than coming to lead us. So immediately you've just got this great tension between the two characters where you sort of know they're going to eventually get on and learn to work together, and that's the second one. The second one does that brilliantly. But I was like, oh, this is a bit more interesting than, Kate Stewart and Osgood. They're always on the same page all the time, So I like that. And the two actors are really great together too. And what was the third character's name?
Hoffman.
Robert. Yeah, so he's sort of like your working class soldier, going out on dates all the time and...
No, Hoffman.
What?
So I looked him up on TARDIS Wiki. He's featured in some of the Big Finish short trips, and he joins the Sixth Doctor for some stories. There's some short trips. He's got a whole life. Good old Hoffman.
My issue with this one, and I will say, it's like a 7 out of 10. It was really quite entertaining.
Yeah.
Was that in the last third, they absolutely abandoned the train crash, and that's a huge deal. It's massive.
We end up with some nuclear bomb type stuff,
submarine.
Don't we? Yeah, instead.
And it's like, well, we don't need another threat. You've already established this absolutely terrifying threat. You've established the stakes, so you don't need more stakes.
There's a few too many things thrown in there. Yeah.
Although I did like the fact it ended on a bally big explosion, because that's every Unit story, right?
Yeah, and you think that Dalton has sacrificed himself, but he hasn't, and all that. Yeah, the usual.
It does mean that Dalton gets to see precisely what Unit has to deal with.
Because at the end, she's like, "Here, have these files. You better read up on Unit now."
Yeah,
it's the Inferno situation. He starts reading and the Web of Fear.
What's this?
She gives him the target books of Inferno and Web of Fear to read.
That's right.
Be like, this is what you need to know.
It's the Geoffrey Beevers readings, of course. Yes. He goes to her. I could have you shot or buy you a pint. So we're doing that sort of Mike Yates Brigadier relationship, but a bit more sexual tension, Yeah. But I did think this was good. I thought it established the series well. It was just a little bit unfocused towards the end. But
no Nicholas Courtney, sorry. They do so much tight. If you edited out all the Nicholas Courtneys, because these are about an hour and 10, like that 10 minutes of Nicholas Courtney.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I kept saying to you, what? These an hour? These could all be an hour. Yeah. Well, except for Longest Night, which was an hour and could have been an hour 10.
Yeah.
But I want to shout out Gary Russell because I thought this was extremely well directed. So maybe that the coup was just done in a lunchtime, I
think they were, yeah.
Slap on some Silurian noises and a helicopter and that'll do,
Okay, well, the next story is Snakehead.
I beg your pardon?
Released
you put your Snakehead away,
January 05 by Jonathan Clements. It's Jonathan Clements' Snakehead, actually.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Ooh.
You ask him about that.
Plenty of girth, I'm sure.
So as well as our regulars, this features Ian Brooker as our guest star this week.
Ian Brooker, I know that name. I think he's from Dalek Empire.
Oh,
Ian
maybe.
Brooker.
Yeah.
Albert Brooke.
Yeah. Well, this one...
Is it just Brooke and Brooker? Oh, never mind.
This one is our regulars off on a mission of the week.
To the seaside.
To Southend Seafront.
Yes.
And it started off very odd because our children in Dalton are out investigating and it's cockle pickers at Southend. Someone's been murdered. And
just because you don't like cockles.
No, and it goes on for quite a long time, the setup. And I'm thinking, why are Unit investigating just like cockle pickers? And it goes on until Dalton actually says, why are we investigating
right,
this?
yeah.
Because you're thinking that the whole time.
I was getting that X-Files vibe again because it was a man and a woman investigating, right? One's a skeptic and one's a believer.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right. Just Scully always goes, "Oh, Mulder, why are we here?" Like, you know. But there's a archaeological dig on the beach. Now that's a bit of an issue because it's summertime and
the Ian Brooking character is the archaeologist, and he's a bit of a grumpy perv, a bit like how I imagine the guy, you know, the archaeologist in The Demons at the beginning.
Oh, Professor Horner.
Professor Horner. He's like a pervy Professor Horner, I feel.
Never mind, Sutton.
Because he does say some sexist stuff towards her, I think. He said there was a few comments.
No, he says as well, the last thing we need is Essex boys searching for gold bars.
Stuff like that, yeah.
He's terrible. But I love Dalton's a city boy and he hates all of this, the sea air and all of that. Whereas Chowdhury is just looking forward to the holiday, you know, she's having a great time. This, for quite a long time, doesn't seem to have any extraterrestrial element. And it doesn't have an extraterrestrial
element. Well, I had no idea where it was going because, they're investigating. I mean, there's like the pre-titles of someone being murdered or something going on. So, you know, there's like a weird thing, isn't it? So, like, you know, someone be murdered over the radio. But then it goes into this whole sort of like immigration, illegal cockle pickers.
I loved it.
And you're like,
because it is like an investigation. It's a bit like Sontaran Stratagem when they go into the illegal workers there. It's that sort of thing.
Yeah, I know, but imagine Terrence Dicks reading this being like, "Oh, well, where's the aliens? What's going on here?" He'd be writing in green blobs already.
I liked that it gives it a political footing and it feels like it's in the real world. But I liked as well.
It does it a bit too heavy. I think
they're batting back like Mulder and Scully theories. They're in a Chinese restaurant, so it's a really sort of domestic setting. I don't know. I just thought the first half of this was pleasingly light and it was a good investigation, but especially because the two of them were learning to work together. And there's a nice bit where they phone Hoffman and say, right, well, we need you to do this and that for us. And they're working together as a team. The second half was great when suddenly we realise that it's a Kosovan vampire hunter that's in town. So basically what's happened is the cockle pickers have been brought in illegally from Russia or China or somewhere. Anyways,
China, I think.
By this man, Kevin, the local Chinese takeaway owner, pretending he's Chinese, and then it comes down, wasn't it? And he's literally a Cockney. So he's bringing in the immigrants, but they decided to basically, so they could earn more money, they go off and do their own thing. And then one of them was a vampire that came in who started killing them all off. And that's why they brought in the vampire hunter.
And then we have all these secrets on the beach towards the end. Like, you don't know because they can change shape and stuff, so you don't know what. One of them could be the vampire.
It becomes sort of like a murder mystery.
Like
you've got Kevin and you've got the professor, and they're with Chowdhury and they're with Dalton, aren't they? And so you know one of them is going to turn out to be the vampire. And the great twist was neither of them was, even though they're both acting in a really suspicious way. I thought those were really well directed, those scenes.
It was really good, yeah. But I think, again, it was just the length of it. It could have been edited down a bit because it takes a long time to get to that conclusion and to work out it's the alien. There's all this stuff where they're investigating, so they go and talk to the Chinese guy, and then he talks to Siri O'Neal, Chowdhury. He thinks that she's
how an investigation, a mystery is structured.
Then there's all that stuff about he thinks she's because he might be an illegal immigrant, so he thinks he's from the government to investigate.
Yeah, it's supposed to add some realism,
but it's just on and on and on. I'm like, can we just get?
I didn't feel that at all. I really like this one. I thought I liked how it went from being very contemporary and realistic to being just a great horror movie at the end where, you know, it's like I could see the vampire in my sights on the beach. Well, who is it? Who's not with the person, you know? And I really liked as well how Emily, throughout this entire story, she's the sort of smug, sarky one, but she falls apart in the climax and Dalton saves her life. And he's the one that's been grumpy throughout. This is how these two learn to work together story. I thought it was very effective. But I just thought it had great atmosphere, this. And it's by the seaside. When we took a long walk along the seaside while we were listening to it. So it was doubly atmospheric.
Yeah, this is probably one of my favourites, actually, of this series.
Oh, I don't know. I think...
like one or two for me.
I think the last two are probably better, but I think this was effective.
Yeah. Okay, well, the next one then.
Oh boy.
Here we go. The Longest Night, released in March 2005 by Joe Lidster.
Joe Lidster doing a controversial Doctor Who spin-off. What a surprise.
And this features Sarah Connor. Do you know what? I've written the name down wrong.
The Sarah Connor Chronicle.
As our sort of regular baddie, Andrea Winnington.
Yeah, Angela, yes.
Well, and the actress does also play, did you know, Cadu to Lethbridge Stewart in the Bernice final amendment. Can't speak today.
Can I say as a tiny side note, yeah, because I love that character, man. She's fucking evil, but that was not a good casting. Like, she sounds so mumsy and shrill.
In this one?
Yeah. I mean, I kept thinking, she'd be great doing an Oxo Gravy advert, you know?
This
all done in real time.
Here we go. Well, it's all set. Well, actually, does it or not? It didn't really seem that way when we listened to it. It does take. So basically, this is where the terrorism themes go right. Oh. This is all about a terrorist attack, basically. No alien stuff here.
This is for my people.
So basically, what's happening in one night in London? There's like a bomber in a pub, basically, and then all people are being hypnotized, a bit sort of Votan style, to be terrorist bombers.
I thought it might be Votan, didn't I?
I mean, to be terrorist bombers. So they're all being taken over. Hundreds of people in the country are starting to bomb. The Prime Minister, the female Prime Minister, she blows herself up in front of everyone.
She blows her brains out.
She shoots herself. As a terrorist thing, it just all, like, it's a night of terrorism in London, and UNIT are there. I mean,
basically
the PR lady of UNIT is there to try and sort it out.
What if London fell in a night is basically what it is. And do you know what? The sense of chaos was palpable in this. I think in the scripting and in the direction, they really made you feel like you and me were listening to this, and the bit where the bomb goes off in the pub, and then people dressing themselves up as pretend unit soldiers were going around murdering, shooting the survivors. I mean, you were looking at me going, oh my God, I can't believe they've gone here. Well,
there's some big surprises here as well. Spoilers if you haven't heard it, everyone. Fast forward like 30 seconds or so.
It's 20 years old, all right, get a grip.
So our Sergeant Benton of the series, Hoffman, he's having a date in a pub, and that's where the bomber is.
Great choice. Brilliant, dramatic choice. Somebody we like.
Yeah, he's on he runs after the bomber and stuff. He survives and things. Well, he doesn't survive, actually, because he has a face-to-face with the bomber and kills himself. He jumps into the Thames rather than tell the bomber about UNIT and stuff. Shoots himself. Yeah. So he dies.
Did you see who the bomber was? It was our Harry Myers from Bernice. Harry Myers. Adrian.
Yeah.
And you can't mistake that voice, can you? Even when he's doing a terrorist.
So that's a shock for one of our regulars to go. And also, Dalton, our other regular, is killed at the end. He sacrifices himself with the bomb as well. So that's the equivalent of, say you're listening, we love the Bambera series at the moment. You've got Bambera and you've got our two psychics. That's like our two regulars, or someone that's like Osgood and one of the other guys in the UNIT series being just dead halfway through a series. That would never happen now. Although I have to say, just while we're talking about the regulars, I think the three of them, they are quite weak. I find her quite weak as a lead.
Really?
And the other two, Hoffman and Dalton, they just sound like just two normal guys. I get them mixed up quite a bit when I was listening to this. There's not much variety in the casting or the voices throughout this.
Well,
that's my only
thing. I'm going to offer an alternative opinion because I think the three of them were great. I think she is more interesting for not being the military person and being the PR person, which is really relevant to this story where the whole thing is about spreading bad PR about foreigners. And so she manages to do brilliant investigations in this, realising precisely what they're trying to do. And also as well, I mean, you're so classist. Dalton has a middle-class accent, and the other one, the soldier, has a lower-class accent. How can you not tell those people apart?
Sound like just blokes.
They literally sound like completely different people. I thought they were great. I mean, the closest thing I can think of to this is Lucy Miller and To the Death, where you get Tamsin and Lucy and Susan's son.
But it's weird, though, because it's not like a season finale. It's not the last one of the series.
This is the season finale.
Yeah, but it's weird. It's the third release.
This is as dramatic as this series gets.
Yeah, I know. If it was the last one, it would make more sense, but it's not.
I found, so the bit where Dalton then picks up the phone and he gets the hypnotized call, brilliantly executed as well. The man going, they're not like us, are they? That's how you really feel about them. Oh my God, so awful, so scary. And then you cut to Emily and then you cut back to Dalton and he's just humming London's burning, fetch the air. And then he's under and he's off to assassinate the Prime Minister.
Yeah, so basically the whole of the UK turns out to be sleeper agents through a stop smoking government helpline. If anyone phones that helpline,
Jesus Christ, that's
you end up being a sleeper agent. That's very clever.
They're trying to stop people smoking all the time now. Don't give them ideas, all right?
Also, a quick little reference, Big Finish fans, to the White Rabbit pub is mentioned, which comes up Hex goes there in The Harvest. It turns out it's in the future in a Bernice one. The White Rabbit pub I think it's in a lot of Joe Lister stories, actually.
Yeah, I thought this was frightening in how it is more appropriate now than it ever was when it came out.
Oh my God,
the race attacks and things that we've seen in the last 10 years have been just so horrific. So I remember loving this at the time, right? And I think it is a hugely accomplished bit of drama, this. I found it a little bit exhausting this time, only because it is relentless and it's trying to be relentless and it is deeply uncomfortable because it really does lift up a rock and show just how ugly racism is and the extreme lengths that people will go to in the name of racism. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant, and it's by far the best of this series.
It's the least Doctor Who-y you could get for a Doctor Who spin-off.
That's why it's great, though.
Yeah, but if you want a Doctor Who, if you want Bambera going, look, aliens and stuff, if you like your unit as Bambera and friends, or even Osgood and friends fighting Autons and stuff, this is not for you. If you want political,
if they wanted
heavy documentary about real life stuff,
they could have just churned out, 15 releases.
Yes,
oh, wait.
I know. It's good as a one-off, but you wouldn't want this every week. They could
churn up 15 releases of Gemma Redgrave facing the Quarks and the Autons and the Zygons and the Crinoids and bringing in River Song and bringing in Missy and bringing in Bambera and all that fucking A to B to C bullshit that Big Finish does these days. This has got a point to make. This is about something. Yeah? This is the most original unit story you probably will ever listen to.
Yeah. But I don't think it would work if you had Nicholas Courtney in it or Angela Bruce or someone. I think you do need this cast of new people to come in. I think anybody in Doctor Who in this would feel very out of place because it is more of a serious drama. I'm just saying, though.
And buy Once and Future then.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, if that's your kind of thing, then this isn't for you.
Well, fuck them. I don't care about those people. I'm just saying this is great.
I know. Okay.
I mean, stuff like this, when they make the point of when people are scared and angry, they lash out. I mean, that's very relevant to now. Angela Winnington says, I just wanted Britain to be safe and pure. I mean, that's Farage, right? And his bunch. I mean, it's absolutely terrifying, this. And the fact as well that I forgot that Dalton died at the end of this. And he goes in to murder the Prime Minister, hypnotised. And then she manages to convince him not to. And I was like, oh, okay, great. He's going to be in the last one. Good. And then he's like, no, get out of here. I'm going to set this bomb off. And if you don't go, we'll all die. And so it leaves all of these threads hanging of well, how the hell is Emily going to get over this? Her busy mate, what was his name? Hoffman?
Hoffman.
Yeah, Hoffman dies. Her new boss dies. I was like, well, where the hell do we go from here?
Well, we go to the next story, the last one of the series, The Wasting, released in June 2005, written by Ian McLaughlin.
Oh, he's back again.
And Claire Barnett. Directed by Nicola Bryan, we just have to say.
My God.
Yeah, Nicola. This features, Nick Courtney's back. He's phoned it in again.
Gary Russell was busy. He said, Nicola, do you fancy giving this a go?
She pops up as various different newsreader voices in the background. You can definitely tell it's Nicola Bryan.
She pops up as the person that's driving the Brigadier around, and for some reason, she seems to think UNIT comes from the 1930s. You've got her going, yes, sir, I will do this, sir. Absolutely,
and this
sir.
also features David Tennant as Brimacon Wood,
boy, oh boy.
who has been mentioned throughout this whole series, who hasn't appeared, but who did appear in the last Unbound series, didn't he, as Brimacon Wood? Which story was that? The David Warner? No, not
David Warner one. Yeah,
the David Warner one. Yeah. So they're bringing
as a total
this character. So he's come back. So he's been captured. He was captured off screen in the first story of this series and has been mentioned throughout. And now Dalton's dead. He's back. He's been released.
They've got to go after him now because there's no one left for her to talk to.
And we do have some scenes here between Chowdhury and Nicholas Courtney because she's just been like, she's recovering from the last episode in hospital and stuff, and the Brigadier sort of, well, again, doesn't do anything. Just has a bit of a chat to her.
Someone this time.
Yeah, at least he's got a scene with her.
And it turns out they've got an established relationship.
Yeah,
so they could have done this
a little bit of a
sort
of a mentor from a distance.
Yeah.
In this, but again, Nicholas Courtney doesn't need to be there.
No, he doesn't. But he was a lot better in this, just because he was allowed to get in on the action a couple of bits and talk to somebody.
Yeah. But then this is all about there's a disease going round. We got sort of COVID vibes here, 10 years early.
They're comparing it to Ebola or SARS.
20 years.
It turns the victims into bloodthirsty zombies.
Yeah. So that's all going on. And then we've got some more ISIS stuff happening.
Zombies were very popular at the time,
Well, yeah, this is the kind of thing. And I think we did have some Ebola at the time in the news, probably.
Ebola?
No,
but zombies, it was all like Shaun of the Dead and stuff like that, wasn't it?
We had like bird flu and stuff. Yeah.
25 days later? No, 28 days later.
All stuff like that. So, yeah lots of influences there.
Oh, and let's talk about a pandemic, don't they, as well? This virus spreading around. 600,000 people in the UK alone.
Yeah.
We're doing survivors early.
Yeah, so a lot of those things happening. But the main focus is Brimacon Wood. Again, spoilers, everyone. He has been part of ISIS this whole time.
Well, hang on. Don't just drop that. Because the whole first half is her trying to get into ISIS to get him out.
Yeah.
And they've got, Chowdhury and Brimacon Wood have got an established relationship because he used to run unit, and so she loves her boss, so she's going to save him, and we're on board with that the whole time. Like, there's no suspicion at all, and even when she rescues him, it's all staged as if he's in a prison cell, and they get him out, and there's a few lines where he was sort of saying, by the end of the day you'll be cursing my name and things like that, and I was thinking, he's very chill about being kept prisoner by ISIS, but as you say, turns out he was the boss all along.
And he plays nasty so well. David Tennant, when he's really horrible to her, and he says a few times as well, I bet you wished something like, you've been wanting me touching you or something. I don't know, he's really horrible. Although really nasty.
She does say, I'm doing this because you're a prick, not because I fancy you, and punches him in the face,
she really does fight back.
He does that sort of vicious bully.
He's so vicious.
He's so nice, David Tennant. How does he did
he's
it
loving
as John Kurtz from Cold Beers. He did that really well as well.
He does it brilliantly. That was the highlight in this story for me, when he does turn bad.
Well, I liked it when the two of them were sort of going looking for the space shuttle, because that was established in the first story.
That's the thing that got captured at the first, in the first
story.
So
they're going looking for it together, and you sort of figure out as a listener, okay, he's not everything he seems to be. So then he starts dropping about what the virus is all about, and it's really, I thought it was as disturbing as, with the kids in Children of Earth, when the kids turned out to be like drugs. So basically the idea is that from this shuttle, the chemicals leaked out, and it's aliens that send these shuttles down to turn people into food, and then they land on the planet and eat the people that have mutated into food, which is really hot. That's disgusting. And then obviously Brimacon Wood's revealed, and you just have like a brilliant climax where the two of them they have a proper bloody, like really visceral fight. Kudos to Nicola Bryant, because I could hear every blow of that fight, and because they're both sort of cursing and screaming at each other at the same time, I was like, oh yeah, I would like to see this, But then our journalist, who's been sort of running through the series, he's both Chowdhury's sort of, he helps her out, but he's also a bit of a pain in the arse.
And also, I think it's mentioned, does he work for Planet 10? So the news bulletin music and the Planet 10 stuff is exactly the same as in the Sarah Jane series, because she worked for Planet 10. And I think the sound design is very Sarah Jane Smith series. I think it's the same, like the music, everything
it's the same
time, it's the same soundscape, all of that news bulletin stuff and everything. So I like the little tie-ins there.
What I did like is I don't like the fact that the Silurians was dropped in. Let me finish. I don't like the fact that the Silurians were dropped in the Coup, and then we don't deal with that at all. Like this integration of the Silurians into our society. But I bloody loved that they left us to forget about it long enough so that when the Brigadier goes, Harry Sullivan is dealing with them for the solution.
Oh, yes, Harry gets involved. Well, they have a phone call and he talks to Harry and says, we need to find a cure for this disease or whatever. Do you think, they mention these people, do you think they'll help us? Do you think they can do it? And you don't realise until later on they're negotiating because the Silurians are helping find the cure for the biological weapon, which is brilliant.
It's a neat answer as well. So they then create a virus in the air,
airborne,
that stops this virus from there. And we know the Silurians were biological scientists, so they absolutely could do that. So I loved all of that as well. But then what happens once Wood is he shot? I can't remember. He's hurt anyway. He's arrested,
he's injured,
I think, at the end of this, is that sort of ISIS doesn't have a leader anymore and most of UNIT has been killed. So it does kind of leave this full stop on the series. They offer a little carrot by suggesting that the Brigadier is going to be Chowdhury's scientific advisor.
Well, they don't leave it open, so it doesn't feel like they were planning to doing any more. Like, this was really a one-off. Where nowadays, they'd be like recording 3 box sets all in one go, ready to go. But actually, I quite like that it rounds off, because you've killed off half your characters halfway through the series.
So as a sort of series in its own right, even though there are flaws, I think it holds together as a one-series Big Finish.
I think it's stronger than it's just those 4 and that's it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because, these things go on and on and on. The reason why the Bambearers never get old is because they only give us one a year, like, we're desperate for the next one.
But no, I don't think Chowdhury goes... I'm not surprised Chowdhury hasn't gone down in the history of the famous Brigadier unit leaders of all time. No one mentions her.
Don't listen to him.
She's not in anything else. Nothing else,
Justice for Chowdhury. Gemma Redgrave.
Where's those
Where's
a poster
out?
where we've got Lethbridge Stewart, we've got Bambearer, we've got Chowdhury, and we've got Kate Lethbridge Stewart? We need that poster of our leaders of UNIT.
They'll be going, well, when was Yazoo a member of UNIT? The only way is up. Can you please put her up every time I say that, please? I was surprised at how enjoyable I found this. When we started listening to it, we sort of tore through the series, didn't we?
Well, I'd not heard it before. So this was pretty much new to me, apart from the Coup, which I listened to and put me off at the time.
I think between and you're probably going to fight me on this, but between the train crash in the first one and then the immigration talk in the second one, just everything, the racism angle in the third one, the terrorism angle, and then the virus, the sort of pandemic virus in the last one. I do think this was trying to be very hard-hitting, and I think it succeeded at that. I think each of these stories could be 10-15 minutes shorter easily.
Yeah,
for maybe
I
the
think
third
so.
one. The
I
third
think
one
so.
really held together.
Definitely needs an edit, yeah.
And whilst it is, I said exhausting, whilst it is like extreme, I know people that would never listen to that in a million years because they want to push away from real life horrors.
Yeah. If you want your unit hard and heavy, this is for you.
Always. My God. No, the men are dead. But Longest Night, it is one of the most striking things that we've done so far, just in how far it was willing to go, and just because it was I think it's braver than Big Finish is now.
They're not allowed.
No, I don't think they would be brave enough to make...
You couldn't do it.
To be this angry. It's a really angry script that absolutely condemns the far right, but also gives them a voice. It's a really interesting piece. But I really enjoyed this. I thought Siri O'Neal was wonderful.
Well, we're not going to forget him in a while, are we?
I'll never forget Yazoo.
No, never. There we are. Siri O'Neal, where are you now? Having drinks with Caroline Morris somewhere in the forgotten actresses of Big Finish.
Another day, only Siri.
Okay, well there we are, all done. Oh, I don't think we're doing an actual chronology or a doco ho, are we this time?
I
or anything else like that.
I seem to recall.
Actually, I should have done it, shouldn't I?
Doco reviews, and I remember I don't think I did one for the Coup because why would I? But I think I was like 7, 7, 10, 8. So I was quite impressed back at the time as well. But nowadays, I mean, I would still give Longest Night a 10, even though it's a hard listen. I think the second one, I would say, is my second favourite. I really like Snakehead.
I think I would have to fit this somewhere where I put the Sarah Jane Smith audios because they're sort of in the same world.
I think this is
so sort of mid-8th Doctor in my final list of stuff. But no, I haven't actually thought about where to put it yet.
Actually, in terms of quality, I'd say this is better than the first series of Sarah Jane audios, but not as good as the second, because that's coming up soon. That's great.
Yeah. Okay, there we are. Well, we've just got time to tell us where we're going next.
Yes, please.
So, we're back to Doctor Who, but not the main range. We're going to Bonus Land.
Bonus?
We're doing some
what does that mean?
Subscriber bonuses featuring the 6th Doctor.
Is it more of these freebies?
Colin Baker. So we're doing 2 stories. Her Final Flight.
Her Final Flight?
And
whose?
Cryptobiosis.
Oh, that sounds terrible. Cryptobiosis? That sounds like a Star Trek title.
Well, we'll find out. Both starring Colin Baker and Nicola Bryant.
Oh, is it Nicola Bryant's Final Flight?
Well, we'll see, won't we?
Is it the TARDIS's Final Flight?
I don't know. We'll have to find out.
Gemma Redgrave's Final Flight?
Fright?
Yeah. Siri O'Neal, this is your final flight. I'm so sorry. You never come back to Big Finish again. But fortunately, a great pop career is ahead for you.
Right, okay. Well, that's it, I think. Yeah. Well, okay. In the meantime, everyone, maybe give some of these a go.
Longest Night. Check out Longest Night. It's free on Apple Music, I think.
Is it?
Oh,
they're all free.
It's like a $5 on Big Finish.
Yeah. And we'll see you soon for the 2 Carlins. See you later.
Wow. Are we doing the wrong Doctor?
And don't forget, in the meantime,
Peas pottage hot, peas pottage cold, peas pottage in the bed, 9 days old.